All right, so we're going to do the pop, which is, you know, the popping position to get you into the wheelie, the starting point. So we're going to get into our crouch position, and you're going to be crouched just over the bars. And then you're going to have your seat lowered either all the way or pretty much all the way, pretty close, or like maybe a few inches up if you're really tall and you're on a trail bike. If you're on a dirt jumper, you're going to have it slammed. So from here, we're going to kind of bend our elbows, obviously get those loose, and we're going to, as we push down, we're going to extend our knees out. So we're going to push and then pop and then extend. And that's a technique that you can do over and over and over again. The first few times you're going to do it, you're only going to go a few feet. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get, and the more confident you will be with doing it at speed. So do this slowly. Don't do this going down a big hill. You're going to get hurt. And you need to work yourself on a lulled platform like this, where there's a slight grade up and down, and you can just kind of play with it. So now I'm going down. So that was no brake, just extending. And then this is sitting down wheelie. So like, you know, two very different styles you can do. I prefer sitting down for the fun wheelies, and then obviously if I'm doing some technical stuff, I'm going to be up and out of the seat, and I'm going to do an extension wheelie where you're bending and extending your knees, and those are to kind of sneak in through trail spots and all other things. The focus here is doing the initial pop. So two different kinds of wheelies, many different ways you're going to get into that wheelie position. If you want to crouch, get low and over the bars, you're going to push forward and extend your knees out. And you want those to be timed. You want these to be, you know, getting a good gear, and so you bring your knees down, and you time the thrust with the extension of the knee. So that's how you, and again, you don't have to go far. I'm just going little pops here. The big one. And then that's where you're gonna push the muscles to extend the length of the wheelie. Or you're going to sit on the seat and you're gonna pedal and keep the momentum going. Between those two wheelies are two very different things. If you're doing the sit down wheelie, you're remodulating your brake through all of this, but more so on this kind of wheelie. When you're doing this kind of wheelie, you still need to modulate your brake, but it's more of a technique, and the brake becomes more of like a bailout, where we're gonna loop out, because you're really just doing the balancing act, finding the sweet spot. So start small, realize that this is going to take, you know, weeks, months, and in some cases years to fully master. There's like, think of it karate belt. There's a lot of different levels to the wheelie, and you got to start hitting some boards and just doing some basic kicks, you know. Then you start doing, you know, the roundhouse kicks and all the crazy stuff, and you kick 7 boards at once or whatever. So think of it like that. Don't overdo it. If you go up against an opponent that's a black belt and you're a purple or whatever, you're gonna get your ass kicked. And same thing, if you are not quite at that level, you have to be realistic, you know. Haven't fully mastered it, I really want to go 10 feet, you know, and you go, oh, I'm gonna go 10 feet and I made 10 feet today, you know. And so take your time with it. There's no reason to rush the process. It is like a light switch. So if there's anything any hope I have to give you, it's if you're younger, the light switch will happen quicker. If you're a little bit older, you'll just have to keep at it. It took me many riding seasons to fully master the wheelie. I mean, I was doing wheelies, but I wouldn't say I was mastering the wheelie entirely. it's a great tool to have. Incorporate it into your rides where it's needed. And probably one of the most common spots that you're going to need a wheelie on any trail is where there's watershed points, where they have those little lulls, little dips. They're usually about 7-10 feet across, and that's a perfect spot to keep a wheelie. And what that allows you to do is keep your momentum and keep your balance and stay faster and smoother. So I hope everybody gets something out of this. Keep practicing every day. If you really want to master it, you have to do it repetitiously. It has to become muscle memory and a reflex. So just remind yourself that. And then once you get the feathering of the breakdown and your brain syncs that up, you know, you're golden. You'll never have to worry about like how, if your brain's gonna remember it or not, because it's like a light switch once that occurs. So at least know that once the light switch occurs, you're on, and it's really hard to lose it. I'd have to go off the bike for years and years and years to lose a wheelie. It's now just a part of the way I ride. So realize that once the light switch happens, you've got the trick. You've got it in the bag. Just keep practicing. So we'll wheelie down here. We're at Sawiki, my favorite trails. Kicked my ass today. Yeah, the light's too low for my eyes, I'll tell you that much. Some riders are still out. It's a beautiful day though. Trails were great.